Welcome back. This is a crystal clear mind. Hello, my beauties. How are you doing? Wherever you are in the world, I hope that you're keeping well and taking good care of yourself. I was incredibly blessed last week to have another expert guest speaker come onto the podcast. Her name is Nicole Child from NC Hypnotherapy. We had a lovely chat between us, and we probably could have chatted for an awful lot longer. But it was absolutely full of technical glitches and snoring dogs and tweeting birds, and the podcast completely shuts down on us after only a few minutes of starting. But I wouldn't change it for the world, and I would never want to lose the authenticity of the conversation that we were having. So I've left it all in there, giggles and everything. And I really hope that you enjoy the episode and are as interested in her insight as I was. So let's have a listen to what Nicole had to say. Good morning.
Morning. How are you? Oh, hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfect. That's better. Sorry. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. It's such a beautiful day today. It's so nice.
It really is. It's so lovely out there. I don't know if it's picking it up on my recording, but the birds are absolutely chirping outside my window.
Oh, I wish I could hear that. I can just hear two dogs snoring at the moment.
Oh, bless, that's sweet. Is that from their walk?
Yeah, they're absolutely knackered now. So if you do hear any snoring in the background, it's not me falling asleep. It's two dogs.
That is really good to know. Oh, bless. I just saw your Instagram story as well. What a lovely idea for the morning to get grounded.
Oh, well, one of the things is that I have to walk my dogs anyway, because my dog Lola she's just not happy if she doesn't go out first thing in the morning. And the other thing is it's just so nice to be outside. Yeah, especially at this time of the year as well, when everything's in bloom. It's so green, and yeah, it just makes you feel really good in the morning, which is just a nice start.
It is really pretty at the moment. Everything is so lovely. The flowers all coming out. It's really nice. It is lovely, and we're really blessed today that the weather's been actually pretty decent.
I know, it's lovely. So hopefully it will carry on.
Fingers crossed. We can only hope. British
Well,
weather is not kind, so we'll see.
yeah, you have to be prepared, don't you?
Prepared for everything, yeah. Jumpers, coats, sunglasses, you name it.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Well, thank you so much for coming on today. Honestly, I'm so blessed to have you here, my second special guest speaker, expert guest speaker. It's absolutely wonderful. I'm so excited.
Oh, and I'm so grateful that you asked me. And I feel like there's a little bit of pressure having to follow on from Steph, because she's just because she's so amazing.
Oh, bless her. No, she is amazing, but absolutely no pressure because you are equally amazing. So I have introduced you already for exactly what you are, but I would love to hear your take, and if you could just let our listeners know who you are and what you do.
So I am Nicole, as Beck said. I'm Nicole Child, and I am a solution-focused hypnotherapist, so a clinical hypnotherapist and psychotherapist. And I support women to break the anxiety cycle so that they can feel more confident, calm, and in control. And I have my own practice, NC Hypnotherapy. So I work online and also from my private therapy room here in Whittam in Essex. And yeah, I support people with their mental health, mostly women, as I said, but I do work with some children as well, and some men as well with that.
Oh, I mean, that's lovely. It's such a shame that children have to come under that sort of category to be feeling such big feelings, and
Yeah, I mean, and it's something that we're seeing more and more of.
definitely.
I think it's just all the post-pandemic stuff. So I do get lots and lots of referrals from children. My background's actually in education, so I do have sort of lots of contacts still in the school world. And unfortunately, I do see more and more children coming through. It's nice, I think, that they're getting the help,
Yeah,
but
definitely.
it's, the sad thing is that they're needing that help in the first place.
Absolutely. I mean, the whole world is in the middle of a very heavy mental health crisis as it is, and it's such a shame that it's filtering down into the children. But as you said, it's good that they've got options to find a way to deal with that and cope with that instead of just suffering in silence and it getting worse as they grow into adults.
Definitely, and I think that's the thing. I think that, being able to try and nip it in the bud sooner rather than later,
Yeah,
definitely makes a big difference.
no, that's amazing. So for my listeners, let's go with nobody knows what hypnotherapy is. Would you mind explaining sort of the concept behind it?
Yeah, I'd love to. Well, I think I'll start first of all with what hypnotherapy isn't, because quite often when people think of hypnotherapy, they tend to think of what you see on stage. So, like your Darren
Oh,
Brown.
what way you turn into a chicken?
Yeah, clicking like
Yeah.
a people, mind control, a pendulum, all things like that. Unfortunately, I can't do any of that, and I always say that, oh my gosh, if I had the power to do that sort of thing, my husband would be so well trained. I would have the tidiest house. He'd actually put things in the dishwasher rather than leaving them on the side. And yeah, I think the FBI or Secret Services would have hired me. So unfortunately,
Hi again.
hello again. I don't
I
know.
really don't know what happened there.
No, me neither. And I don't know how long I'd been speaking before I realised that you weren't there. So, oh my gosh.
I know. I kind of had that vision in my mind as well. Like, is she still talking? I'm not there anymore.
Well, isn't that
Damn
isn't
technology.
no, isn't it Mercury's in retrograde soon, isn't it? Is it tomorrow or today?
I think it's might start today, which affects all technology. So yeah, actually, a very good point. Because
So
there's
that
no reason why that should have happened at all.
so I literally looked up and then all of a sudden it was like sign in to Spotify and I was like, oh, I thought I was already signed in.
Oh no, honestly. So for everybody out there, we had a total glitch there. It just completely shut down on us whilst we were mid conversation. But because I don't want to ever change the authenticity of what people are saying at the time, this is not scripted. This is just us chatting back and forth. I would hate to make someone go back to the beginning just because the recording stopped. So we're just going to carry on from where we were. So the last thing that I heard, which is actually why it might have done it, was you talking about the FBI and Secret Services hiring you if you could be into hypnosis.
Do you know what? That means that I was probably waffling on for a little bit longer before I realised. Oh,
Oh gosh.
yeah. So I think we were talking about what hypnotherapy isn't.
That's right,
So
yeah.
yeah, so as I said, I won't mention the words again, but it's not about mind control is all I will say. So hypnotherapy is, it's used in a therapeutic setting. So there's lots of different types of hypnotherapy out there. I practice in solution focused hypnotherapy, which is basically what it says on the tin, in that we look for the solutions rather than focusing on the problem or the past. And a lot of my clients that have come to me before who have had lots of other types of therapies, counselling and all sorts, have found that they come away feeling heavy. And that's because they've had to talk about their past and talk about all their problems, which has a time and a place, definitely. But for some people, that it's just too heavy for them and they're constantly dredging up those feelings again.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because your brain doesn't actually know the difference between imagination and reality. So when you are constantly talking about the problem and going over your past, especially if it's negative, your brain thinks that you're in that moment. So it's bringing up those same emotions and those same feelings that you would have experienced. So in terms of what I do with my clients instead, is that we do the talking side of things. It is a type of talk therapy, but we focus on how they want to be. So thinking about that small step that they, want to work towards, because we don't want to overburden themselves by thinking, what they would be 10 steps away from how they are at the moment. It's that small step that would make that little bit of a difference to them. And then we combine that with the use of hypnosis, which is the real powerful part in this type of therapy. And hypnosis is really just a nice, relaxed, dreamy state. So lots of people think hypnosis is where someone swings their little pendulum around, you go into a deep state and you don't remember anything. That's not it at all when it comes to hypnotherapy. It's just a nice, relaxed state. Lots of my clients, my adult clients, will just lay there and close their eyes and just really enjoy that moment. But when I've worked with children before, they've had their eyes open, they're colouring in, they're drawing. I had one client who was actually doing cartwheels around my therapy room, but that was her way of being in hypnosis, in trance. So everyone experiences it quite differently, but really it's just your brain being able to switch off and just relax, because a lot of what I do, or everything that I do, is underpinned by neuroscience. So it's about teaching clients as well about how their brain's working and what their brain's doing during that hypnosis part of the session. And actually, if I was to tell you that, lots of people go into a trance-like hypnotic state several times during the day. I mean, I bet you, Bex, that yesterday, did you drive anywhere yesterday?
No, but I do tend to go into like a dreamlike state where quite often, almost
Yeah,
daydreaming, but not quite. You just all of a sudden realize that you've just completely like not paid attention to the last 10 minutes of what you've been doing.
yeah, exactly. And that's essentially what trance is, hypnosis is, when you drive somewhere, if you're driving somewhere that you're used to driving, and you almost sort of phase out, zone out, and then you arrive at your destination and you think, how the hell did I get
Yeah.
there?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
that is basically what's happening to your brain during hypnosis. So it's just relaxing. Your subconscious mind is doing lots of work, and our subconscious is the part of our mind that's really, really powerful. And during that session, when we're doing the hypnosis, your hypnotherapist would speak to you and they would give you sort of indirect suggestions. They're indirect because they're quite open. Our subconscious quite likes metaphors, doesn't really, it's a bit like a toddler, doesn't like to be told, or teenager I should say, doesn't like to be told what to do. So they're quite open suggestions, and anything that it thinks, great, I like this, it will absorb. Anything that it doesn't like, it will just completely ignore, which is why we don't have that power to control someone's mind. And then it's just a nice opportunity to reflect on those things that we've spoken about during the session. So people just come away feeling relaxed, motivated, and just really positive.
Which is wonderful. I completely agree with you. I'm all for the concept of therapy, whatever works for a person, keep doing that if it's working for you. That's amazing.
Definitely.
But I do understand what you mean, that if you're constantly going over your trauma or your issues or your problems, then your brain is just comprehending that as it's happening right now, leaving you with that very heavy feeling. The idea of walking out of somewhere feeling light and a bit airy sounds absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, and I'm someone, I'm quite a sensitive person. I really pick up on people's energy. So the last thing I want is for my client to leave my sessions feeling upset, and I couldn't do that. Whereas it's nice because my clients, they might come to me to start with feeling quite heavy, but it's that shift that you see in them when they're, they're smiling, and they just, and there's that hope. That,
Yeah.
that for me is that real, oh, it's a lovely feeling.
Oh, I can imagine. So you're an empath? Would you
Yes,
consider yourself an empath?
yes, definitely. And it's something I didn't actually realize for a long time, but I really did just pick up. I could walk into a room and I can feel that energy, which
Yeah.
is, over the years I've learned to sort of have to direct myself away from certain people, because the energy is, is exhausting
Yeah,
if you're
absolutely.
around that negative energy. Um, so yeah, definitely, and I've had to learn to put those boundaries up for myself. But I think I've been told I'm a natural healer. So when I've done sort of past life work before, people have told me that, I've got this lineage of healing within me. So I think people naturally gravitate towards me to tell me their problems, which is hard when you're an empath. But then it's being, knowing that you can actually flip that around and help them is, it's just, I think it's my soul's purpose.
It definitely sounds like it, because I mean, you're right. If you are just an empath and you happen to have people gravitating towards you with these energies and these feelings and these emotions, and you can't actually do much apart from just listen and absorb all of that energy, it's not particularly helpful to anyone, especially the empath. But if you have the knowledge that you have, the studying behind you that you had, plus this kind of potential lineage of healing, plus you're an empath, you've got the ability to actually turn it around and help people, and then also help yourself. Because one of the biggest problems with empaths is trying to then rid themselves of that energy that doesn't belong to them. So I mean, what do you do to sort of release yourself of that energy?
So, I mean, these are things that I've had to, it's a bit of trial and error really that I've had to learn over the years. I always keep a pot of salt by me when I'm working with clients. I don't know if you've heard that. The salt absorbs the sort of the negative energy. So I always have that in my therapy room. So if anyone comes to my therapy room, see if you can spot where the salt is. So yeah, I always do that. For me as well, at the end of the day, I always make sure that I ground myself. So, shower at the end of the day, clear off the day. In the morning, I have to do things for myself. Now, lots of people think that self-care is selfish. It's not. It's really not. It's selfless.
It's so funny because I'm actually about to record, whatever, it's actually an episode that was supposed to be done about 2 months ago. But as you know, life gets in the way, which is all about self-care and self-love. And it's exactly that. It's not selfish. You have to take care of yourself so you can help others.
Oh, definitely, definitely. I heard somebody speaking about so we always say that you can't fill from an empty cup. So you need to fill your cup up first, and you need to, and then you can pour from your cup. Well, actually, I don't believe in that, because I think if you are giving from your cup, then you're emptying your cup essentially, and you've got to then continue to keep tipping, filling up your cup, which is hard work. So somebody said to me, and I can't remember who it was, so apologies if whoever it was that told me it, is that actually what you want is you want it to overflow from your cup, and then it's everything that's in your saucer that you can give to everybody else.
That's actually a really nice concept.
And I thought that was so lovely, because it means that actually you've actually got more than you need,
You're
and
giving away the excess.
exactly, rather than actually depleting from your own store.
That's actually a really lovely, and it's a wonderful image as well to keep in your head.
Yeah, I loved that. And so, yeah, I'm very, very big on self-care, very big. Like I said, one of the first things I always do in the morning is walk my dogs. That's like me time. I I like to read, all sorts of things that, and I've rediscovered as well over the years that I need to do more things I used to enjoy doing as a child, because we forget about that inner child. And with all the expectations on society and what we should be doing as adults and as women as well, actually going back to being a child and playing is really, really important. So I do a lot of that as well. So I've gone back sort of painting, just being creative, I think, helps me as well, so that I can ground myself and, not have to take on board and hold on to some of those heavy things that my clients are working through.
I think that's absolutely wonderful. And our inner child is always crying out for a bit of attention. And I
Definitely.
love that, like the creativity is it's actually really important to more people than they realize. And most people sort of say, well, I'm not creative at all, I can't sing, I can't dance, I can't paint or whatever. But when you listen to your sort of idea about it, you're not looking for beautiful artwork that's going to go on your wall, or beautiful artwork that's going to be sold. Just merely painting to appease your inner child can be great fun. It's like coloring. I mean, mindful coloring, there's a reason why it's such a big thing. Is because we all love it. It's our child going, yes, I get to sit with coloring pencils and pens again.
Oh, definitely. Even I get excited buying stationery. And
Oh, I
you
love
think,
stationery.
yeah, it just brings me back to being a child again, and getting your pencil case at the start of the year with all your pencil. Yeah, my husband thinks I'm mad, but it brings me joy, so I'm going to carry on doing it. And that's
Yeah,
the thing;
absolutely.
it's doing more things that bring you joy, and that this is something that I do work with my clients. That it's about finding little things that bring you joy, because as much as going on holiday, big events, all things like that bring us joy, we can't do things like that every day. So we need to find daily things that bring us joy. And there's actual science behind this, because when we're doing, we're doing things that we enjoy doing, we're interacting with people that we like to spend time with, we're getting lots and lots of neurotransmitters, particularly serotonin, which I talk to my clients. They're sick of me talking about serotonin, because that's what I go on about, and that's what we need. We need that, lots and lots of serotonin, so that we're healthy, we're happy, we're able to deal with things when, life throws things at us. And it's not about finding it's not those big things in life that give us that serotonin. It's the little things, whether it's, like you say, being able to hear the birds outside your window, sitting down and having a cup of tea, whatever it is that sparks you joy, you need to do more of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think this is where sort of gratitude comes into it. You can be grateful for, as you said, let's say a big family holiday, or massive lottery win, or a nice car, or whatever it is. I mean, and who wouldn't be in their own right mind? But you've got to find gratitude in the small things. Like, you've got to
Definitely.
find joy in the small things, because the more you enjoy those small things in your life and you're grateful for them, the more of those will appear. And as you said, you can't have the big stuff all the time, every day. So you've got to find it in the smaller stuff.
Definitely. And I think the more, like you said, the more you look out for those little things, the more those things appear. And it's not
Definitely.
because all of a sudden they've started to appear and they're coming into your life. Actually, they've always been there. You've just almost had goggles on and not seen them. Um, and that's the thing. It's retraining our brain to look for those good things.
Absolutely. And our brain is so capable of doing it as well. I actually was looking at one of your Instagram posts yesterday. I think it was techniques to deal with anxiety, and one of them was to, in the room that you are, pick a color, and then find everything in that room in that color, and then move on to the next one. And I was absolutely mesmerized when I chose orange, thinking I'm not a big person for the color orange. So there's like no orange in this room. And oh my goodness, the second I said that to myself, all I could see was orange things in my house. And I was kind of like, this is insane. I've just told my brain to look for something that I don't believe is there. And there it is, everywhere.
Yeah,
you know. So I think our brains, it can sometimes mask, and I think our lives can mask a lot. But once you start to focus, as you said, focus on small joys, focus on small gratitudes, you start to see more. It's like looking for a bus and then three come along.
yeah. And I always use the example of when you're looking to buy a new car. So you've got a car in mind, and all of a sudden you start knowing everybody has the same car as you.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it's not that all of a sudden everyone's decided to get the same car that you want. It's just that you've decided, oh, I'm going to, I'm looking out for this guy. You've brought it to your mind's eye. And
Yeah.
so you've started noticing more of those cars. And that works for everything. It's, what we put our attention to, we're going to see more of. So if you are, and I'm not saying that people do this on purpose, because of course they don't, but when you are in that negative headspace, then you're going to spot more negative things. The person that could be giving you a dirty look, or I don't know, somebody cutting you up. You notice those negative things, whereas actually when you can flip it round, yes, those negative things probably still happen, but then it's not a big deal in your life because you're too busy focusing on the good things around that they almost sort of disappear into the background.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just like it's a shift in focus, which sounds as if it's just so easy. It's almost said so flippantly, just shift your focus. But just a shift in focus can actually make the most enormous difference to anyone's life.
Yes, of course. And that's part of sort of the work that I do, is that it's helping people to gradually shift that focus. Relatively, I work with my clients pretty in a quick space of time, really, compared to sort of other therapies out there. But it is about realigning that focus, and like you say, we're creating these new pathways in your brain, and this is like the sciencey part of it, that these new pathways in your brain that you're going to start creating, which means you're more likely, we're getting that ingrained in your subconscious, because for someone who is in a difficult space at the moment, their subconscious is telling them a completely different story. And like you say, as much as it's easy to say, oh, we'll just think of something happy, it's not it's not as easy as that, especially if you've got that underlying template that's almost forcing you to spot those negative things. And that's where that hypnosis side of things really helps to shift it, because we can sort of work on that subconscious, flip the script around so that you can start looking for those good things. And the more you're looking for those good things, the more serotonin you're getting. And it's like riding a bike. When you first start riding a bike, you fall off, you're wobbly, all sorts. And then once you've learned that and you practice it, it's a breeze. And that's essentially what we can train our minds to do.
Well, the brain is an amazing thing. It really is. It's capable of so, so, so much. And we are too. We are capable of actually training our minds as well. It's just getting there, isn't it? And I mean, that's what people like you help with when people can't physically do it themselves. I absolutely love the things that you write about anxiety a lot, because I mean, I don't really know many people that don't suffer from some form of anxiety. It just seems to be such a general problem at the moment with everybody, with the life that they lead and the society that we're in. And I absolutely love some of the things that you say about how to deal with it, how to cope with it. It's not a matter of it necessarily going away, but it is a matter of you being stronger than the thoughts.
And that's the thing, anxiety is something that's ingrained in us. We've managed to survive as a species because we felt anxious. You walk past, as a cave lady, you walk past, a dodgy area, and you think, you get that feeling, probably shouldn't go in there. You don't go in there, and you don't get eaten by a lion. The caveman or the cave lady that didn't get that anxiety walked into the cave, got eaten. They're not here to tell the tale. And so anxiety is part of us. It's helped us to survive. And so, we can't completely squash anxiety, but we can learn to work through those tough feelings. And it's knowing as well that the anxiety will pass, that you can experience it, almost. And I say to my clients sometimes, it's almost saying to your brain, oh, thanks for that, thanks for the heads up, and then actually assessing the situation. Well, is it actually something that you need to be anxious about, or is it something that I can completely, I'm going to use these techniques and put them in place to then redirect your focus. Now, like I say, it sounds like it's a lot easier. It is. I know it sounds like it's an easy thing to do. It is when you know how to do that and when you are in that place. And that's the thing. It's there's lots and lots of techniques and tools out there, and some of them are so easy. Like I said, the color, spotting the colors around you, it's that, and that's why I love being able to share tips like that with people, because they're things that you can teach your children, and you can use at any point. It's not that you have to all of a sudden get yourself into deep meditation, light your candles and get into your yoga poses. They're little things that you can do throughout the day that just keep your anxiety in check.
Which is amazing. I mean, I think that it's safe to say that in the sort of lives that we live, we don't feel that there's a lot of time to focus on certain things. So these little quick tips are just a really good way of just sort of, as you said, like grounding you back down, bringing you back down from that. And all of these techniques, they add up. I mean, most of the people that listen to my podcast will be sort of similar to me, still on a learning journey. We're still growing, still figuring stuff out, but we know what our aim is. And our aim is to get our mind to just quieten down a little bit, to not have outside influences completely shake our inner core every time something happens, to just try and quiet the chaos a little bit. And just gain some mental control, if not physical control, but mental control is equally as important. So I absolutely love that. And when I put the podcast up, I'm obviously going to put all of your details because honestly, looking at your Instagram, I absolutely love seeing your posts when they pop up. They are so helpful, and I absolutely love how much you give to people. These people aren't your clients; they're not coming to you, but yet you're giving out so much that could be helpful to anybody that needs it.
Oh, thank you. And that, it's funny that you say that, because I had a business coach, and she actually told me off for giving out too much information, and was saying that, strategy wise, it's not good. You're giving out too much value. And I just thought, but in the line of work that I'm in, and I think in the type of world we're in as well, it's not always take. Actually, I enjoy being able to help people, and whether you're a client or not, I think that, there needs to be tools that everybody is able to access. So yeah, she didn't stay my business coach for very long, I have to say. Just because it didn't feel aligned with me.
I do
Um,
get it from a business perspective, perhaps giving away what you should be selling. I suppose that does make sense, but you're not like in a cutthroat business where you're trying to sell all the time. As you said, you're looking for an alignment in your life with your business, and you want to help people. So I think the content that you put up is wonderful, and it inspires people as well. Like you can look at your posts and kind of go, do you know what? I actually think I need more help than just that. And that allows them to get in touch with you if they feel that that's what they need to do. So I don't think you're doing anything wrong at all. I think you've done the right thing.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think it's about trusting your gut, isn't it? In those, and like I said, I'm on a learning curve with all of this. Like, for years, I've suppressed my intuition. Um, I was a teacher for like 10 years, 10 plus years, and I always had to fit into a box, and I always had to meet targets, and it's so nice to just not do any of that and just be authentic and be able to just support people in the way that they need to be supported. So yeah, I think it's trusting your gut.
Oh, completely. Your intuition is everything. Along with, as you said, that sort of level of stress and anxiety that, not the one that, absolutely canes you off, but the one that tells you, do you know what, that person isn't someone I want to stand next to and talk to, or that situation is not something I need to put myself into. I think where you can, being completely aligned with what makes sense to you is a perfect way to live. It really is.
And
So
yeah,
I
and I
think
think
you're doing it right.
I think that's the thing. I think a lot of us are aiming for that, aren't we? That alignment, you know, and what more can you ask for if you work towards that goal?
Well, exactly. I mean, I do agree. I mean, it's definitely my aim. I mean, to an extent, we all have to do what we've got to do, right? I mean, there's obviously things that we don't want to do in a day. Doesn't mean that you can avoid these things, but between focusing on something different and finding the joy and finding your gratitude, grounding yourself, and trying to live the rest of the time aligned, I think that's like the perfect balance. Yeah, you're still going to have to take the rubbish out, you still have to do things to make the money come in, but it doesn't always have to be the constant trudge that everyone is going through. And you can see when you just walk through crowds of people just how unhappy people are. They really feeling this burden of this trudge of life. And we don't have long on this world, it really shouldn't be that hard where possible. I have to
Oh,
say where possible, because of course there are points where we just have to do things, but
yeah, but I think those moments, the things that we have to do, sort of, it's flipping it, because it means that you then don't focus on those negative things. It's focusing on the good things that you have, and I think it's like light and dark. It's
yeah,
that balance,
completely.
isn't it?
Yeah,
That
completely. If you've got more light in your life, then the dark is minor, and you just get that thing done and move on to the thing that you want to do. Bring creativity and joy back into your life. Work in a job that is aligned with your soul and makes sense to you. Something that doesn't feel like you're working against your own grain. I mean, that's the
yeah,
worst one for me, is all, when you walk through a day and you can feel that you're actually going against the flow. There's no
yeah.
flow there, but you feel like you're walking against the flow.
Oh, it's hard work. It's hard work and it's exhausting. And then, if anyone is like me, that you then beat yourself up for feeling like that.
Yeah.
Your inner critic comes into play, and that's never good, because that's just causing more anxiety that you just don't need.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's almost like a knock-on effect, and then it turns into dominoes, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, and that's the thing. It's about breaking that cycle, and one of the things that we really work on in sessions is getting better sleep, because the minute we're anxious, we're stressed out, we're overwhelmed, our sleep is really affected, and sleep plays such a big role in dealing with our emotions. I mean, sleep plays such a big role in our lives in general. It's so important, but yet it's the thing that goes when we're overwhelmed and stressed. So it's getting that back into alignment as well. So yeah, if you're not getting enough sleep, definitely work on the sleep.
Yeah, definitely. Honestly, when I'm at my most anxious, I can't find sleep. That's when I sort of just sit there staring probably through the TV as opposed to the TV, and you just wide awake. Wide. The truth is, you're absolutely knackered, and you want
Mm,
nothing more than to go to sleep. But I know when I'm at my most anxious, when I cannot get to sleep, and you start to see it go past midnight and it's getting close to 1 o'clock, and you think, yeah, okay, this isn't good.
yeah. And then we're sort of negatively forecasting from there. Oh, I'm going to be tired tomorrow morning. Oh, this is going to be hard work. We're putting ourselves into our survival brain in that moment. And when
Yeah,
you're in your survival brain, you're not going to sleep. And so it just has that knock-on effect, raises our anxiety levels. So it's about breaking that cycle down. And yeah, I definitely would say getting good sleep is one of the things that really does help with anxiety.
yeah, it does. It makes a huge difference, as you said. Mentally, you feel better, obviously, physically, um, but you do wake up very differently. You wake up with a different mental load before you begin your day. It's
Oh, yeah,
what I
definitely.
try to do is go backwards slightly. So if I'm at my most anxious, and last night I slept at 1 o'clock in the morning, I try and skip back about half an hour. Tonight I'll go to bed at 12:30, even if I'm not tired, and then I just move back half an hour until basically I get back into a normal routine.
That's brilliant, because I think for some people, if you are, especially if you've, I mean, with the Easter holidays and things that we've had, a lot of people get out of their routine and they're used to going to bed quite late, and it is hard to all of a sudden go back to going to bed at a reasonable time. So one of the things I do say to my clients, and exactly like what you said, is to just gradually bring it back. Also, things like creating that nice, relaxing environment where you sleep. So making sure it's not too hot. You spray some lavender pillow spray if you've got any. Listen to a guided sleep relaxation or a meditation. That always helps as well. But one of the things that lots of people are quite surprised about is that when it comes to our sleep, it's actually there's a big part to play in the amount of sunlight that we get in the morning when we first get up.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you really struggle to get to sleep, instead of just focusing on that nighttime routine, think about your morning routine as well, because what you ideally want to do is to be getting out in the sunlight, especially, I mean, it's nice at this time of the year because we actually do have some sunlight, but within that first hour of waking, get yourself outside into natural light, 5-10 minutes, if you can, and just, absorb that nice sunlight, because basically that's resets your circadian rhythm, which is that
Yeah.
internal clock we have that tells us to wake up, go to sleep, that those feelings of being tired. So that helps to reset your circadian rhythm.
That's an absolutely brilliant bit of advice, that is.
There's a neuroscientist, Andrew Huberman. I don't know if you've heard of him. He
No.
Yeah, he's like my my neuroscience crush. He he talks all about lots of different things that he talks about when it comes to the brain, but he's a real advocate of getting daily sunlight, first hour if you can, and actually direct sunlight, not just looking through the window, because that makes such a difference on on being able to establish that sleep pattern.
And the thing is, it makes total sense. It's funny how sometimes you need these things pointed out to you, and yet you feel like you should have known that. But yeah, I mean, that makes perfect sense, especially in a life like we have now, where it's more go, go, go than let's go back to, cave people. Obviously we do a lot more in a day now. But yeah, I mean, to take yourself back to basics, you need to see the sun come up and feel it go down to know when you should be awake and asleep.
Yeah, and they are the little basic things that you can do. Like you say, I think we forget because we get caught up in the busy world that we're in. Lots of us are either working from home or we're working in offices, so we're not outside. We go straight from the house to the car to where we work, so we're not getting that natural sunlight that our ancestors would have had.
Yeah. No, that's an absolutely brilliant gem there. That really is.
Yeah, so everybody get outside as soon as you can,
Yeah,
especially this time of
absolutely. That's
year.
it.
Yeah, no
You heard
excuse
it here.
having time of
Get
year.
outside.
And that's the thing, a couple of minutes in the day, even if it's, you just have your morning coffee outside, that still counts.
See, that's my favorite thing about this time of year, having my coffee out on our balcony. I
Oh,
absolutely love it. Can't do that when it's raining. It's all open, unfortunately. But
yeah.
oh, it's just so nice when it turns spring to summer. Absolutely love it. Just
And
such a
that,
simple thing. Just have your coffee outside is nice.
yeah, I mean, even you telling me about that makes me feel good, and oh, yeah, get outside this time of the year, no excuse. And just enjoy that sunshine, enjoy that natural light, because that will reset your circadian rhythm and help with getting better sleep.
Oh, that's absolutely wonderful. Nicole, thank you so much for coming on today. It's been an absolute pleasure. We've been chatting for ages. I didn't even see the time go. I've just looked down now and kind of gone, oh my goodness. I
And
could
we
keep
managed,
going as well. That's the thing. I could keep chatting to you for ages more.
and we managed to cut out the beginning as well. So
We
could you
did.
imagine if we'd actually kept the beginning bit in?
I'm now going to have to go and do a bit of editing to try and get that back in again. It's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you so much. Honestly, I'm sure everybody out there, we've got listeners all over the world. I'm sure that they would really appreciate everything that you had to say today. And guys, I'm going to put all of Nicole's details for you. Go check her out on Instagram and on Facebook. She's definitely worth reading up on and taking some of her advice. It's brilliant tips, absolutely brilliant tips out there for you.
Oh,
So
thanks.
thank you so much.
No, it's been a pleasure. Lovely speaking with you.
And you too, my darling. Get out and enjoy that daylight whilst it lasts, because I'm afraid to say we do live in Britain and apparently it's raining in a little while. So
Oh,
go and
gosh,
enjoy it.
definitely. I'm going out there right now.
Thanks so much, honey. You take care.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.